Hello everybody, this is Joyce with BoQ Creations and I have the absolute pleasure to be with you today on Elizabeth Craft Designs for the new Garden Party release. I'm so excited. I'm so happy you all are here with me today. I'm going to show you some new technique. Well, it's not new. I'm going to show you some watercolor techniques using the Elizabeth Craft Designs watercolors. Oh my goodness, you guys. If you have not used the watercolors from Elizabeth Craft Designs, they are vibrant and the flowers with this just sing. I love it. All right, so let's see who all is joining us today. Sylvia's here. Hello, Diane. How are you? So good to see you. Tina Johnson, Anja, hello everybody. There's a lot of names I don't know how to pronounce, but hello you guys. Anita, hi, how are you? Yes. Candace, nice to see you. Robin, oh my gosh, we're going to have so much fun today. Let me just switch over to our picture-in-picture so that you can see what I am seeing. Let me switch that over for you. I have so much in store for you today. I hope I can get it in all in 1 hour. Hi, Tina. How are you? Thank you for liking, comment, and sharing. Deborah, how are you? I am so excited to be here today with the new Elizabeth Craft Designs garden party. I'm going to talk about these in just a second, but the first thing I want to show you is this absolutely gorgeous paper. Oh my goodness. When I saw this paper, I was like, oh, it is so beautiful. Hi, Debbie. Hello, Sharon. Hi, Brenda from Vancouver. Hi, Belinda. I know Belinda was last night on our live. She's like, don't forget, tell everybody you're going to be on ECD tomorrow. Oh, I'm so excited. Look at the colors. First of all, I just wanted to show you the colors in this paper. Look at that. I love the fact that I can use my florals right over top of these beautiful printed florals. And on the back, you have such a gorgeous design with a little bit of writing in there and some kind of damask print. It is absolutely gorgeous. Hello from Nebraska. Petra, hello. How are you? And they're all in different color hues. So you've got yellows, you've got greens, you've got pinks, you've got blues. This garden party collection was, it just, when I saw it, I was like, oh my goodness. Hi, Terry. Hi, Barbara. Nice to see you too. Hello, Heather. How are you? So I'm going to be using this gorgeous garden party paper here today. And let me show you let me show you the dies that actually made this collection. Hi, Pat. Hi, Diana. Okay, so let me pull them out here. What I'm going to be using today, I just wanted to show it all to you. They have this gorgeous stamp set, which I fell in love with the script, the celebrate, thank you. The font on these are absolutely gorgeous. This flourish right here, oh, I loved it. Loved it. Hi, Robin. How are you? Laura from Austin, Texas. And then this frames and elements. I loved the bow on this one and the fact that I have 3 different layers that I can put in this frame here. I love that. Love. This blue one right here, the Wildflower number 2. Oh my gosh, you guys. I fell in love with these little buds right here. They are so fun. And what else I like about this, hi Ann, how are you? Patricia from California. Hello. We are literally international today. We are all over the world. Literally. Thank you so much for joining us today. What I loved most about this new flower collection is that you can use them singly. You just use one little flower and that is all you need. I loved that. This right here, I can't even begin to tell you. Look at this. This is the same flower. Can you believe that? Look at the way that it was done on the packaging, how beautiful that looks. But look right here. You could just use it singly and, hi Linda, how are you? You could just use it singly and with another flower and it totally looks like a different flower. I love that about this. So that is Wildflower number 3. Oops, I'm losing my pieces. Can't lose my pieces. And then wildflower number 1. This is our 5 petal with these gorgeous leaves. I absolutely love this one. Oh my gosh. Hello, Margaret. How are you? Now, the one thing that I know that I have been asking for many years from Els is some fillers, some greenery fillers. And man, did she come through in a big way with this one. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different things that you can make out of that. And I'm going to show you this one in particular today. Jillian from Australia. Michelle says, I remember. Thank you, Michelle. So they came through in a big way with the greenery fillers. I absolutely love those. And then today I'm going to be also using the Everyday Elements doilies. Oh my gosh, you guys. This I waited forever and ever. Hi, David. Thank you so much for joining us today. I love these doilies. And then the fact that they have these 3 circles that you can cut out the center if you want to, or you can just leave it a doily. I love, love, love that. So without further ado, let's get flower making. Let me see. I know there's something else that I'm probably forgetting. Oh, I'm forgetting the purple one. That's why I don't see it. Give me one quick second. Okay, we're just going to pull the drawer out and leave them here then. Okay, so first of all, let me show you what that doily looks like. So this card was so easy to make because this paper is absolutely all you need. Absolutely all you need. Now, first thing I will tell you is I never, ever, ever create a flower without using Elizabeth Craft Designs paper. Their soft finish cardstock. This soft finish cardstock is all I will use for my flowers. There's just something about the texture in this cardstock and the weight of it that just makes it perfect for making beautiful flowers. I can't even, if somebody comes in and asks us about what kind of paper should I use, I say, are you making flowers? If they say yes, thank you, Teresa. I'm a little bit behind, but you know, if they say, what kind of paper do you use for making your flowers? Hands down, Elizabeth Craft Design soft finish cardstock. There is no other paper as far as I'm concerned for making flowers. So this doily right here, I will tell you, it really comes out nice as a doily if you cut it out in just regular copy paper. It's nice and thin like a doily, but it goes so beautifully behind the flowers. And this was just a little card that I made by putting some envelopes together and using that gorgeous paper. Gosh, that paper is amazing. Look at that. Look how beautiful that is. So this was just a nice little card that I made with, you know, put a couple of gift cards in it, but those flowers, stunning, stunning. Then I did this 6x6 card because it absolutely just, I wanted the whole flower set on there. Wanted it all. I wanted every bud. Hello, Julianne from Wisconsin. Happy Wednesday. These were all done with watercolors. There's the doily in the background, but you can see this paper again. Gorgeous. And I wanted the whole wildflower set on there, so I had to go 6x6. And then this one right here, I haven't decided what I'm going to put it on, but I sure liked that background. That's that die right there. There's that beautiful bow and some more of the flowers. So I'm going to show you today. Thank you, Anja. That means a lot coming from you. This one right here, this is the purple one that I can't find in my bucket, probably because I put it somewhere. Gorgeous spring blessings here. This is that paper I just made kind of in a vintage, grungy look, but here's those beautiful fillers. There's the wildflowers. Absolutely gorgeous. And this was just on some craft cardstock. Absolutely gorgeous. These flowers just speak for themselves. So let me show you how I created these beautiful watercolor flowers right on the Elizabeth Craft Design paper. So their paper will hold up to watercolor. If you have not tried the Elizabeth Craft Designs watercolor set, man, you guys, I'm telling you, this is my go-to all the time. I love, love, love this set. The color choices that are in here are absolutely phenomenal. So I'm going to set this up right here so I have it in front of me. And then I've got my little palette right here. I've got my water, and I'm all ready to go. Let me pull out my tray. And I'll tell you what I'm using as we go along. I wanted to show you that one wildflower. Let me pull this out. Let me get it. And I was thinking today, rather than making another card, I think I'm going to make the book box. I think I'm going to put these beautiful flowers on a book box. So this is that same greenery filler that I made a pussy willow out of by just using some buttercream fluffy stuff. And then I just made my stick kind of brown, and then I heated that and it fluffed up. So I actually used that greenery filler to make a pussy willow that I could put behind one of my creations. I love that. I love how you can be so versatile with these. So the first thing that I'm going to show you today is how to make the stems with the watercolor. A lot of people are afraid of using watercolors, and you shouldn't be. Don't be afraid to use watercolor, because guess what? There's only two things you need to remember. Don't soak your paper, and if you don't like it, throw it away. It's that easy. It is that easy. If you don't like it, it's only paper. Cut it out and try it again, right? It's not hard to do. Put these over here. Okay, so I'm going to show you how I created this stem today, just using some watercolors. And I've got a piece of paper towel here just because when I soak my, and I'm going to take my brushes. I use a variety of brushes depending on what I'm going to be working with. Oh, I love their palette too. Just got your ATC kit. Ooh, Penny, you're going to have some fun. Ugh, Anja, you're going to love them. Okay. The other thing that I love about what's come out lately with ECD are the centers, the stamped centers. This saves you so much time, and it just finishes off that gorgeous flower. So I'm just pulling out some of the fillers over here so I can show you what they look like. Absolutely gorgeous. These are all watercolored. See, I used watercolors on these. Absolutely beautiful. And they turn out just as good as if you used your alcohol markers or something like that. Okay, so I have a stem already cut out over here. This one. And I'm going to use this one today. And I'm using a paper towel behind it because I'm really going to soak my, my paper first. I used to live... Hi, Cindy. How are you? Nice to see you all here today. So I'm just going to make sure my brush is cleaned out. Now, a lot of people don't realize this. Someone made background out of those centers. I don't remember. Yeah, I know. They look like little fireworks. Yeah, I love them. I love them. Okay, so I'm just going to take my brush here and I'm just going to wet my paper first because this is going to give me the ability to come in here with my other brush. And I'm going to take, first of all, I want you to try something. If you're scared of watercolors, if you're scared of whether or not you think it's going to come out like you want it, go ahead and just take a piece of scrap paper and try the color on the paper. And I recommend that everybody do this when you're switching papers that you don't know whether or not it's going to look nice. Because every, zoom in, zoom out. Thanks, Joseph. So every paper is going to hold watercolor a little bit different. So this one is the olive green, for instance. I love that one. And then the next one is sap green, so you can see it's a little more green. And then this one down here at the bottom is kind of a, you know, like a darker green, like a hunter's green. So I kind of like the olive and the sap green. So I'm going to start out with the sap green, and I'm just going to saturate my little pod here. And because I've already wet my paper, as soon as I add that color to my stems, it's going to spread out across the paper. So easy. literally a kindergartner can do it, right? So I'm just taking some of this gorgeous pigment here, and I'm omitting the leaves right now for a reason. I want to show you. So I'm going to take that olive green here, and I'm just tapping it in, still wet. I'm not really, there we go. Gorgeous. Okay, now I'm going to take some of that sap green, which is this lighter, nope, that's not it. That's not it. It's the yellow green that I want. It's a little bit lighter. There we go. Yep. Okay, so this yellow green, I'm just going to take and I'm going to go ahead and blend my leaves. That's all I'm going to do. See, it's not difficult, you guys. The key is to let it dry. This is where most people go wrong, okay? They see it and they go, oh my gosh, it doesn't look good. Let me keep adding color or taking away color, and then they find that they don't like it because it comes out too dark or it's not the right color. Well, let it dry before you do anything to it, okay? And if you start out with a wet paper, you're going to get a very different look than if you start out with a dry. But I love the fact that I don't have to have watercolor paper to make these gorgeous flowers from Elizabeth Craft Designs, because the paper will hold up to whatever you are doing. So there we have one of our stems. We're going to let it dry for just a minute. Okay, I always use a different paper towel instead of getting it on my mat, because then it gets all over my all over the back of my flowers, and then I'm kind of like, So today I'm going to show you how to make that red flower. And I've got them already cut out over here. Already cut out somewhere. I tried to be prepared today. Okay, here it is. This is the red flower that I made. I'm going to show you. This is the one that I made so differently. Okay, so this technique is in the shaping. But this one right here, I'm going to show you how I watercolored it. It is so cool. So I've already cut out my pieces so that you guys don't have to watch die cutting. But I did not use the leaves that went with this one. I decided to go with my little buds, but I will show you how to do the flowers. So one of the things that I noticed when I first cut out these flowers is that they are already embossed on the leaves that kind of give you some indication as to where you're going to be shaping. So I chose not to use the centers on these flowers because I'm making a different flower, which is what I love about flower making. You're Mother Nature, you can do what you want. No, I'm not using watercolor paper. I'm actually using Elizabeth Craft Design soft finish cardstock. So I'm going to take these right here. I think that's enough. And I'm not going to use the leaves for this one. I'm going to use the leaves as a filler. Well, Penny, you decided with a good collection. All right, so I'm going to start with a dry leaf, okay? I'm going to start with a dry leaf. This time I'm not wetting my flowers, and I'll show you why in just 1 second. I want to reserve that, let me get my fine line brush, okay? That those lines in there that they gave us to kind of show where the dimension is, and I'm just going to use the scarlet. This is what scarlet looks like, and the vermilion. Let me show you these. Aren't they absolutely stunning? This one's like a orangey red, and this one's kind of a red. And then this rose color right here is absolutely fabulous too for some flowers. So maybe I'll try the rose color. Why not? They all go beautifully. And you see that I kind of tapped off the tip of my brush. That's because I don't want a whole lot of this color. So I don't want it to, you see how when my paper is dry, it just kind of sits there on the paper and doesn't spread. So I'm just kind of giving this a little bit of depth. I'm going to set it aside and let it dry. And again, I'm using the rose color. And I'm just taking my brush, and I would do this with my alcohol markers if I was using alcohol, but I'm not. I'm using watercolor. And I'm going to show you that you don't have to be afraid of watercolors. You can do the same thing, achieving a different look with the watercolors, and I promise you it will be so easy. So we're going to set these aside and let them dry. Let me get a couple of little ones since we have a couple of buds in here. Here we go. And on this one, I'm just going to do some little tiny marks. I'm not going to try to find those lines in there, although they're there. I just can't see them. I have to zoom in and zoom out. Okay, I'm going to do two more just for good measure. Why not? Absolutely gorgeous colors here. Okay, a little bit more on my brush. And see, it is very easy. And then you're going to see in just a minute, I'm going to show you two different ways that you can watercolor these gorgeous flowers. Let me set these aside. Okay, there we go. Now these I decided not to wet first. Now let me show you what happens when you wet them first. They turn out a totally different way. And I love it. I'll show you on this big one here. Come here. My big one does not want to get on my hand. Okay, so I'm going to take my brush and I'm going to just wet the flower really, really well. Okay, again, I'm not afraid because I know that this paper is going to hold its shape and stand up to the watercolor. Why? Because it's Elizabeth Craft Designs, that's why. Okay, so I'm going to take the vermilion. There we go. I'm going to take the vermilion and I'm just going to touch it into the center of the flower. Do you see that? I'm just taking the color and I'm just tapping it into the center of the flower. Now the water is doing the work. It is sucking it up into the creases, and I'm just adding some more water. And as it spreads up the flower and grabs the water that's already on the paper, you can see it makes an incredible design. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit so you guys can kind of see what it's doing. I hope. Let me see. There we go. All right, so I hope you guys can see what it is doing. It is really, really, hi Cindy, how are you? It is really gorgeous how it is just kind of taking that water and it's going up the edge of the flower. And so now I'm going to take some of that red. Oh, Patricia's like, I'm going to watch the live today and I'm going to get started as soon as we get done. So I'm going to take some of that scarlet and I'm going to do the same thing, except let me get a little bit more water. Sometimes it just depends on how much water you put in there, and they all kind of look a little bit different. So I'm just going to kind of tap it in there. My flower is getting a little bit dry, so I'm just going to tap some of that scarlet in there on that wet flower. Again, just adding a little bit of water. It's so much fun. Each flower is going, thank you, Natalie. Each flower is going to take on a different appearance because the water does not act the same on every flower. Okay, so it is really, really important that you understand it's not going to be perfect every time. Okay, so once it dries, it looks completely different. So we're going to set it there. I'm going to bring back in my flowers that we let dry a few minutes ago, and I'm going to show you how I did those. Let me see which brush. Okay, we'll use this one. Why not? Okay, so I'm going to use, I think it was this crimson that I used, was it? Yes, it was the crimson. Okay, so I'm going to come in here with my wet brush. I call this my wet brush. It's kind of a soppy, kind of a soppy brush. And I'm just going to tap that center and a little bit down on the bottoms. I don't want this part of it to go away, but I do want some of that blending to kind of come in. And I'm just going to go up the sides a little bit. And you notice that I did not saturate the paper, and I did that for a reason. Get your paints nice and wet. I'm just going to go along the edge of my flowers here, all along the edge, okay? Here we go. Just going along the edge. You'll see in just a moment. Let me make sure I'm not missing any questions. Hi, Ellen. Good evening from Holland. Wow, thank you for joining. Okay, so you see I've just kind of outlined the edges with my color there. I'm going to do that to my next smaller one so I can show you how we can shape all of these. I know right now it looks like a hot mess, but trust me, it will be absolutely beautiful. Okay, so I'm just adding some of this color right along the edge, and this paper can handle it. It can totally stand up to that watercolor, so don't be afraid. There we go. And I'm going to do the same with the smaller one, but I'm going to be very gentle with the color because there's not enough real estate here to to really make a lot of color. This one's going to be a little bit dark, but it's okay. It is okay. All right. It looks artsy to me. Thank you. I wish I got some popcorn, Diane says. Because my water is nasty, I'm just going to dump it out real quick and get some clean. Because you want to have some clean water when you do this next part. I wish I had my little Boku bidet, but I don't anymore. Okay, so this is kind of a long wet brush. I'm going to grab my heat tool. This is another key to watercoloring. If you dry your flowers in between each step, it'll help keep your flowers from spreading, your watercolor from spreading. So just dry those flowers. Just dry that watercolor. And we're going to give that one a little heat too. Okay, you can just dry it real quick. That way, when you come in here with just water, I only have water on that brush. And so what I'm going to do is, oops, they got pinned together. What I'm going to do is I'm going to reactivate that color and bring it towards the center. You see that? I'm just bringing that in towards the center, right over top of that scarlet that we put there. That's fine. That is absolutely okay. And then you can just bring it in like that. So all you're doing is activating that color that you already had on the tip of the flower, and you're bringing it down towards the center. Okay? So this will kind of give you a streaky look in the flower. It'll kind of give some striations, which is very, very nice. We're going to set it up there to dry. Let's do our next one. This is why you needed clean water for this. There we go. You notice I'm just taking my brush and I'm just flicking it in towards the center with some water, tapping off the excess just because I don't want to drown the poor thing. And if you find you've got too much color, it's okay. Every flower is different. There we go. I'm going to add actually a little bit more to this one. There we go. I want it to look nice and striated. I think those leaves are going to look beautiful with those striations in it. Okay, so again, if you think that you don't like it, let it dry. This is, I'm telling you, this is where most people do the wrong thing. They look at it and they go, no, it looks horrible. When really, let it dry, it'll be absolutely amazing. Okay, so I'm just getting some of those striations in there, and because we put those lines down first, it's going to be absolutely wonderful. I'm just giving this a little bit on the edge. Here we go. Okay. We're going to go with the rose, I think. Is that the color we used? Nope, we use this one. My only problem is I forget what color I used. Okay, so basically I guess what I'm doing is distressing the edges of these with watercolor. I guess that's kind of what I'm doing. But wait until you see how gorgeous they turn out. I wanted to wait and do this live with you guys because if I had done them ahead of time, there's no way they would have come out the same. And so I thought, well, I can either do a few of them ahead of time or I can show them how I did it. And I'd rather show you how to do it that way when you're sitting there trying to remember, oh my gosh, you know, what did I do? How am I supposed to do that? So again, I'm just going to make some of those lovely striation marks in here. I'm going to give that a moment to dry. I need to really wet my water. If you feel like the brush is kind of, I don't know, it feels a little bit sandy. You see how it's not really dragging across the paper very smoothly? That just means that you need to add a little bit more water either to your brush or to your watercolor pan. There we go. I love the fact that this ECD paper can totally handle all of what I'm throwing at it. It can handle watercolor, it can handle alcohol markers, it can handle all kinds of things. All right, so look at this one already starting to dry. Isn't that gorgeous? Let me hit this real quick with the heat tool, and then we'll start shaping these gorgeous flowers. They don't have to be completely dry because I'm just going to re-wet them, but I just want that watercolor to not absorb into what I'm doing. I want it to be, you know, kind of, I want there to be a difference between the flower and the watercolor. Why is it blending only the edge and not the lines you did first? Because we let those dry. And I'm not really putting a lot of water onto, just as I say that, now it's blending the lines. So we put these lines on first and then we let them dry, and now I'm coming back in with another coat, so that's why they're not blending. And they are blending a little bit, but I'm mostly coming from the edge towards the inside of the flower, and that's why they're not blending as much. They would if I continue to put water on them. It absolutely would blend. Thank you. That's a great question. My brush is losing water. There we go. So it will blend. And if you feel like you've blended those lines out, I'm going to show you how to fix that as well. Let's get our little one here. We don't want to lose our lines in there. Okay. Look at the difference. Just right now, just in this petal right here alone. See that? If you wanted to come in here and make that a little bit darker, I would just actually take some of that and just come in here like this, because every time a layer dries and you add another layer of color, you're getting more and more depth and dimension. Love these. And you can be as crazy as you want to with these. This is what I love about this particular style. Okay, there we go. All right, so I'm going to remove my paper towel here. I'm going to dry these real fast. You know what, we have one more. We might as well go ahead and do this one so that we have enough flowers. Goodness gracious. Okay, so see how I had these in here first? So we've let those dry, and I'm coming in here with a dry paper. This flower I did totally wet. The paper was completely saturated. This one, it is not saturated. It is totally dry, and I can come in here, drying it real quick. So every time you dry a layer in between, it's going to give it a little bit more depth. Okay, and then just coming in here with my wet brush and giving that some love there. Okay, any more questions? Thank you so much. Okay, and the thing also too is these don't take very long to dry. You see that I've only, done just a few seconds with the heat tool. You don't need to overheat it. So I'm just drying these. And they're, for the most part, all of them are dry. Except for that one little corner right there on that guy. Okay, there we go. And that is essentially all I did to create these flowers. Now I'm going to remove this one because this one's orange. Okay, here we go. All right, I'm going to put my watercolors away because I'm finished with those. And then I'm going to grab my daubers. I have my green, and I am going to use forest moss. Now the only reason that I'm doing this, just like normal, but may cut it with scissors and not a machine, would it work too? Just rip into it. Just rip into the... From Jacksonville, Sandra, thank you. Thank you for joining us. So this is forest moss, and I just take my brush dauber here, and I don't like white edges. For some reason, white edges just kind of make it look unfinished for me. So I come in here with my green after I've watercolored it and let it dry, and I just get that forest moss. And these white edges right here that are showing up from the die cut machine, I just kind of come in here and zhuzh them up a little bit. You can certainly give it a little bit more color if you want in some areas, if you want it a little bit darker in the stems, or maybe on the flower edges. You can do that. Why not? You're the creator. You do what you like. I just don't like white edges. My followers always tell me, oh, Joyce, you got white edges. And I'm like, where? I need to take care of it. All right. So I just do that real quick. Zhuzh it up with some forest moss ink or any color green that you want. And now I'm going to do the same thing with a mulled wine color, because that's a darker color to that one. It's just called mulled wine. I'm just using one that's a little bit darker. I do, Femka. I do. I actually saved them. Those and my my coffee filters. So again, I don't like white edges, so I'm going to come in here and hopefully my flowers have dried, and I'm just giving it a little bit of love on the edge with my finger dauber. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? It just finishes that leaf right off. Now this is a totally different flower than what is on that the cover. I just did not want to come in here and make it exactly the same as the design on the front of the packaging. I wanted you guys to see that there is another way to do these. And again, I'm just adding on a little bit of color, but then the piece de resistance is going to be the centers that I stamp in the middle. That's what's going to make these flowers just come alive. Yes, the watercoloring is beautiful, but the flowers, when you stamp those centers, absolutely gorgeous. There we go. And we're just making sure nobody's getting neglected. We want all the kids to play nice. I love that one. That one turned out really, really good. And they're all going to be different because, in nature, nothing is perfect. Mother Nature does not make anything exactly the same. Okay, so we're going to get rid of that. Got a couple little flowers over here that we can use, and I've got some of my greenery, and I'm going to stamp my centers with my centers stamp. Here we go. I love the little dots. The little dots are my absolute favorite. But you can use any of these that you like, whatever suits your... I know, Anja, that was I said, when Els told me they were coming out, I said, no. Oh my gosh, we have been waiting for a lifetime for those. Who knew that this would be the thing, right? Who knew? So I'm going to use that same dark mulled wine color. I want to show you what these stamps look like on paper because someone did a background with these. Look at that. Perfectly imperfect. I love that. Okay, so I'm going to take this, and on my smaller ones, I'm just going to stamp those little dots in there. Look at how amazing these centers look now. Look at that. Does that not just make it come alive? Okay, I'm going to get the little smaller one because I don't want my teensy ones to be overpowered. Now, the reason I'm not spending a whole lot of time on the shaping part of it is because the shaping is so easy to do, you guys. I'm going to show you in just a minute. It is so easy. All right, so we are ready to go. We've stamped our centers. We've got them gorgeously done. There we go. We're going to get rid of our stamps over here. Let me wipe my fingertips off because I've got red ink all over and it will be all over everything. Does that happen to you guys when you use red ink? It gets all over everything. Thank you, Petra. I appreciate that. Let me get my... I have a shaping pad, but you could do this with any kind of foam. I have a piece of fun foam that I use. I don't know where I would put it. I have a piece of fun foam that I use that's bigger, but you can use any kind of... And all I'm going to use today, and you're probably going to be shocked, no amazing tools necessary to create these flowers. Oh, you know what I forgot? Oh my gosh, you guys, I almost forgot the most important part. I don't like white edges. So I come in here after I'm done building my flower and I flip these over and I just take whatever ink is left over in my dauber and I color the backs. I know it's a little OCD, but you know, you never know. If you see the back of the flower, you don't want it to look kind of, you know, white underneath there. So I just take whatever ink is left in my little dauber here and I just kind of zhuzh those edges just in case you accidentally see the back of the flower. I want it to kind of look like the front of the flower. Okay, here we go. All right, so as I was saying, you don't need a whole bunch of fancy tools. You just need a couple of ball stylus in different sizes. That's it. Ball stylus and a pair of ECD tweezers. There is... Oh, please zoom out. Oh, I'm so sorry. I hope you guys have been able to see. Now I gotta find my remote. Okay, let me go back. There we go. Is that better? There. Okay. Is that better, I hope? Sorry about that, guys. So all you need is a couple of ball styluses. I always start with my larger one first. I don't know why. And I'm just gonna take my ball stylus. And I know you guys might think that I'm scratching my head, but I really am not. I am actually getting any static and whatever off the end of my stylus, but it does help to allow the stylus to go over the paper as well. I'm not saying I have really greasy hair, but I'm just saying. And so all I'm doing is I'm just taking my stylus and I'm kind of doing little circles. Again, no fancy tools necessary, just a ball stylus. And I am going right over that petal. And then I'm going to flip it over and I'm going to push it like that, just to give it a little bit more pop in the center. Okay? So not hard to do, you guys. Just a little bit of love with your ball stylus against your foam. And you can do this into a dish rag or something like that if you have something softer than your mat. And you're just going to get the whole petal, just going to give it some love, flip it over, and there we go. See, I told you there was no special tools required. Now this one is a smaller petal, so I'm going to go to a little smaller of a ball stylus, just because I don't want to have such large circles in my petals here. But what I really, really like about doing this with these particular flowers is that the striations that we created using the watercolor, when you go to shape it, just really helps make there to be some, you know, really gorgeous color and depth in the flowers. And you can see that this is the Elizabeth Craft Design stock cardstock. It's all finished. It is holding up to it. To make sure that we are not running over on time. 2:46. I think we're doing good. Okay. See, it doesn't take very long at all. I have start to finish almost completed the flowers and telling you how to do it, showing you how to create them. Now these little guys, I absolutely have to go with a smaller stylus, because if you don't, you're going to overkill. And then your flowers are going to kind of really wrinkle up on you. But look how gorgeous these are. And all I'm doing is just running my ball stylus in a circle around it. Femke says, don't worry about the time, just keep going. All right, so now on my leaves, I'm going to do some, oh, we got white edges. We have to take care of that. We have to take care of it. So this is just whatever ink was left over in the dauber, and I'm just, there we go. No white edges. I love these leaves as well. These were really pretty. And I thought, you know, if worse comes to worse, then I will put these flowers on this, and I'll kind of just make that like that. Look how beautiful. I'm in a snowstorm, so I'm not going anywhere. Well, Diane, you can come down here. We're having some nice weather today. But just like that, look, I haven't done anything to that, and it's absolutely gorgeous. So, you know, all of these pieces, you can intertwine and use them, and they're just fabulous. Okay, so I have this gorgeous paper. I've cut out the ECD book box and assembled it. So this is just the ECD book box, Elizabeth Craft Designs book box, and I love, love, love this. It hooks onto here, and your little book box closes, except I'm being a little heavy-handed here. Come on. Anyway, we're not going to fight with it, but this is the ECD book box. Absolutely easy to do, and you see that gorgeous garden paper in there. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I have a piece of gold foil here that I'm going to glue on to my box, and then I have a white piece of cardstock that is going to go over that, that's going to help bring some of that beautiful the beautiful colors of this magenta kind of color out onto. So I'm going to take my glue here. I'm going to use this one. No special tools required, just a ball stylus, that's all. And I think I might, no, I think I'm just going to leave it white. I was going to say I might do a flourish on it, but I think I'm just going to leave it white. There we go. I think I'm just going to leave it white. Here we go. I'm going to put this. This is from the book box set as well. Okay. Now, oops. There we go. So now I've got kind of a little frame. I can, I'm going to take my doilies. Let me find my doilies. Here we go. So this is a gorgeous little doily, and I think that I might try to put a piece behind my flowers. I don't know yet. I always like to see how it's going to look. Make sure we don't have any questions. Oops, get back here. So I just always dry fit first because I don't know how I'm gonna like it until I dry fit it, and then I just want to see you know, what it's gonna look like, if that doily is gonna show up. If it's not gonna show up, then, you know, maybe I won't do it. I don't know. It's all what you would like to do. I think if I cut it in half, but I want to have room for a sentiment there, so maybe I won't use the doily today. Maybe I won't. Okay, I still have to shape my leaves, but first of all, we need to do our stamping, and because we want to make sure that we have room. So let's do With Love, since we're coming up on Valentine's Day. Maybe the With Love. All right, let me grab a block. I always do my stamping first. That way I know I can build my flowers around the stamp. I hate it when I get done with my flowers and I go, oh my gosh, I have absolutely no room for my sentiments. So this one is going to say With Love. And I think if my flower goes here, I could kind of put it there. So again, this is ECD cardstock. This is the soft finish cardstock. So absolutely takes watercolor. It takes any kind of stuff that you'd like to use. So this is the one that we did, but it seems to be a little big for our purposes. See, that's why I wanted to make sure. I mean, I'm not worried about that leaf. I can always make it go my direction, whichever way I want to. There we go. All right, so I think that's going to do good. Now, I do need to do a couple more things to this before I put it on there. Just for me, you don't have to do this. It's just my own personal preference. In the leaf right here, there is a line, an embossed line, and if you follow that line, of course this is dry now, this is one that we watercolored. If you follow that line, it just gives the leaf a little more realism, you know. And I'm just using a water-based marker. I'm not gonna, you know, do anything more to it. I'm just gonna make sure that those lines stand out a little bit, because, you know, it is a leaf. All right, now I'm going to use a ball stylus and my tweezers. So I'm going to come down the center of that line, and I'm going to bury my ball stylus in the leaf and just kind of follow that line, okay? Just going to follow that line. Just enough to give it some dimension. There we go. And then I'm going to take my tweezers, and with this crooked edge there, these make the best tools for leaves for me. I love it. I just bend it against my hand like that. See? Just like that. And it gives it such a beautiful look. See that? Very simple, very easy. And then I turn it over and I just take my ball stylus and I just push down in some of the places, like some of the points there in the center. And you see how it's really kind of wrinkling up that stem? That's going to give it a little bit more zhuzh on your card as well. Okay? So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get my favorite glue for all times for flowers. And this is the Kids Choice by Beacon. It is a thick glue. It has instant grab. So that means that the second that I put it on the card, I'm not going to have to worry about you know, whether or not it's sticking or if it's going to come up or whatever, because I don't have to worry about that. Okay, so the next thing I need to check is it going to fit on the book box? Is it going to fall off the book box? I might cut that off. I don't know. I might actually, let me go ahead and just use this leaf, because I feel like if I had done the card that I was going to do with that one, that would be a better solution. But this one right here, I think is going to fit better with our sentiment. Sorry about that. I'm changing midstream, but it's okay. We'll get it. See, we can't have the white edges. Again, just got to make sure that it's all nice and colored, because we don't want to have white edges. Now this stem is out of another set that we have, that's out of another garden party set. So I'm really kind of bouncing between two sets, but you know, it never has all of the perfect things that we necessarily want in every set, right? Like, that's why we buy multiple different sets. Okay, so I'm just taking these leaves after we did all that work on the other one, and I have white edges, so we got to fix that. Looks great on black too. It does. I love that. It tells me whether or not I'm gonna like it on the pad there. Okay, so I am just making sure my leaves don't have any white edges, and I promise we'll be done with this sooner or later. You guys are probably like, geez, Joyce, are we ever going to get done with this? Yes, we are. I promise. You're gonna love it when it's finished. All right. Here's my book box. I think this leaf is going to do a lot better with our, yes, with our With Love. Okay, here we go. No rush. I know, but I don't want to go over our hour. Okay, so I'm going to take and just put a smidge of glue, and I just use my ball stylus to do this. I never ever put glue on the back of the leaves, and let me tell you why. You want those leaves to kind of stand up by themselves, so if you glue them down, they're absolutely going to stick down. If they are not glued down, then you kind of get the ability to adjust those leaves how you want them. For instance, I want to make sure that I have my With Love so that I can see it, and then I'm just going to glue down that stem. Now my leaves are not glued down, so I can, if I want to zhuzh these up like this, I can totally do that because it's not glued down. There we go. And I don't worry about my glue because it dries clear. And so I'm going to take this off of the book box because it's a lot easier to do it flat. Here we go. And now we are going to start applying our flowers. Let's see. Do I want to use the big one? I love that big one. Okay. Then I can use my next one here. And then I can also put a little one under here. You know what? I think I'm gonna not do the big one. I think I'm gonna do this one. Yes. Okay, I like that a lot better. Okay. See how gorgeous that is? I mean, come on. I'm loving it. Look at that. Look how beautiful that is. Now, if that little leaf right there, if I don't like it there, or it's getting in my way, guess what I can do? Look at this. I can snip it off. I can prune that bush. Yes, ma'am. Okay, so that is exactly what I'm going to do. So I'm going to take a little bit of my glue in the center. just in the center. I don't want it to be anywhere else because I want those petals to feel free to do whatever they want to do. Okay, there we go. I'm going to take a little bit more. R.I.P. leaf. I know. I'm going to recycle it. Don't worry. I'm going to recycle it. There we go. Got that beautiful. Got this leaf kind of hanging out right there. We got our little guy. This one I'll probably be able to. Is my friend Heather still here? Look at that. How beautiful. I'm going to kind of stick those in between each other. I've got this gorgeous little leaf right here that I'm probably going to put on this side. See, this is what I love about being Mother Nature. There we go. And see, this is why I love this glue. I can stick that leaf in there. Do you see the distance between the cardstock and the tweezer? And I can leave that leaf and it will stay absolutely like that. Now, if I want to, I could put another little flower inside. I could put one down here, maybe one back here if I wanted to, just for, you know, for filler. You notice it's taking very little glue to attach these flowers. Look at that. How gorgeous is that? I mean, seriously. Oh, I can't wait to give this book box away. Okay. Here we go. Beautiful. There we go. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Now I've got some of these fillers in here. If I wanted to add something, I could, but I don't want to. I think that looks gorgeous. I am going to do one more thing in the center of the flower though, because we got to give it a little bit of just something. So I'm just adding a little dollop of glue right in here in the center. I feel like I need a couple more leaves. I feel like I need a couple more leaves, but and I'm just going to rinse that off in my, and I'm going to bring in a little bit of, let's see, do I want to use pollen? Yeah, let's bring in a little bit of pink pollen. Okay, let me get my little spoon here. Oh, just use the back of my tweezers, that works. And I'm just going to tap in a little bit of pollen on top of that glue. I don't want to cover up that beautiful stamp, okay? That's not my intent. My intent is to bring in a little bit of that pollen. There we go. And it just makes that center kind of stand out a little bit. I could put stamens in there. I could use the little stamens that come with the set, but I'm just gonna love it just like that. It's gonna go on this gorgeous book box right here. I'm gonna cut off this little piece of stem that's kind of hanging off the end. Thank you very much. And then this is going to go right on top of that absolutely gorgeous book box. And then whatever is inside will be gorgeous because this is gorgeous. I can't think of anybody who would not love this book box with a gift card or something inside of it. There we go. Look how absolutely stunning. It is so easy to create beautiful flowers when you've got such great flowers to start with. I absolutely love the way that these turned out. I've got my leaves popped up. Now you see how this one right here is kind of giving me a little bit of a hard time? Well, I fixed that by using my micro foam dots. These are micro foam dots. I absolutely love these for my flowers because they are teeny little pop dots, and you can't see them when they're tucked behind a flower like this. So if you're having trouble with a particular leaf or flower and you're not liking it because it's not staying popped up, then just put one of those little foam dots behind it. And then wait for your flowers to get dry, and you can absolutely come in and just give them a little bit of adjustment if you need to, but I love that. I think it turned out amazing. So there you go, you guys. Nothing but some Elizabeth Craft Design soft finish cardstock, some beautiful watercolors from ECD, as well as a ball stylus. And look at this. You can make a great, gorgeous piece of art as well. I can absolutely add anything I wanted to in there. If I wanted to, you know, add a little bit more flower in there, or a little bit more leaves, or I wanted to put some, you know, just some stuff behind it, and maybe this little sticking out at the side, I could do that because I'm the artist and I can do whatever I want to. So there we go. I hope you all enjoyed this live. Thank you so much for letting me be here and taking your time today to show you how to do these flowers from this gorgeous new release for the garden party. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. And Els and the crew at ECD, thank you so much. Keep making beautiful flowers because I love them. Thank you, guys. Bye.